The Minister Pravin Gordhan held a briefing at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange on his hastily convened investor roadshow to the UK and the USA last week. Of course, his non-deal investor roadshow came against a backdrop of mounting concerns that South Africa's economy could lose its investment grade rating by mid-year.
Most of the meetings, actually, before they broke up, the parties all said we are here because we respect the team. They've earned their stripes and our respect over a long period of time, and that's why we're still here. They tabled their concerns very specifically, whether it was concerns around the December issues or concerns on certain policies that need to get certainty in terms of for example, the mining, the visas in terms of the tourism. They were very direct in terms of what they expect to see and what they feel can be done relatively quickly. And therefore, those are the kind of things that we need to send the signals on, that actually we are on top of those issues and we're able to deliver on them quickly.
No, it is. It's a very good start. To have everybody united and speaking with one voice is fantastic. We can't tell the agencies what to do. We can try our best to convince them, and we should do that as South Africans.
Well, Angelo Coppola joins us now with more from today's press conference. Angelo, welcome to the show. Now, of course, this roadshow was all about engaging over 250 investors, of course, about South Africa's future. Now, based on Minister Gordhan's briefing today, is there a sense that he was successful in reassuring them?
Well, Uche, it's difficult to say at this point without canvassing any of those 250 people. They were asset managers and they were ratings agencies. Time will tell. But for the ratings agencies, it's fairly straightforward. We will see either a rating downgrade or we won't. For asset managers, it's less simple because some of their mandates may automatically trigger a selling event. That's a disinvestment in South African stocks or bonds if any of those agencies downgrade the country below investment grade, which is, so it's a bit touch and go. We'll have to wait and see in the next, I would say, 3 to 6 months.
Well, Angelo, the world actually saw a unified front at the roadshow. We saw government, we saw labor, we saw the private sector. But back home, there are questions about Gordhan's, of course, role in setting up a spy unit, as we mentioned earlier. And of course, there are reports that his position as minister could be threatened as well. Any truth in these reports? And of course, what impact will it have on his work to restore confidence in South Africa's economy?
Well, Gordhan was very straightforward. He said that he was focused on his job, which is keeping South Africa from junk status and growing the economy. His legal team are waiting for responses on points of clarity they've raised, which they put to the Hawk some 2 weeks ago. Gordhan also wouldn't be drawn on whether he knew of any alleged meetings between the influential Gupta family and the Deputy Finance Minister. Of course, the Finance Minister has been out of town for the last couple of days, so he's avoided this particular storm. The Gordhan, though, is putting on a brave face and he's putting in the hours. But it looks like the strain's starting to show. And fortunately, I guess what he has good going for him at the moment is that he's a good delegator and he's roped in business and labor to get on with several job streams that have been identified in the 2 or 3 meetings that government has had with business. So it looks like his delegation powers are starting to work, Uche.
Well, putting all this into account, of course, including the current political landscape in South Africa, how do analysts feel about the country's economic outlook?
Well, on one hand, there's a view that it's a little too late or too little too late. And that's referring to the national budget speech, which didn't show much about growth, but talked about expenditure or cutbacks. And then, of course, there was a charm offensive that happened last week. Gordhan said today that foreign investors have been watching and are watching all aspects of South African life, from the politics to the social side to economics. And it's not just in the last 3 months. And the more optimistic people are suggesting that Moody's may downgrade, but not those 2 notches that will take the country below investment grade. We're hearing that S&P has given the country a bit of a breathing space until June. In the meantime, it's been suggested that the best case is that South Africa wins a reprieve from any or all of the ratings agencies so that those institutional funds can stay in the country and those much needed reforms and strategy can be implemented, giving us a breather until December, Uche.
Well, thank you so much, Angelo, for those insights. Of course, he's joining us from Johannesburg.